Dear students, in the previous class we discussed two geography lessons. Today we are moving to history part. In the previous history class we discussed the advent of Europeans, Battle of Carnatic Wars and its consequences, then Battle of Plassey, Battle of Buxar. Children, what are the results of Battle of Plassey? What are the consequences of Battle of Buxar? Just try to answer for these questions. See, through Battle of Plassey, through Battle of Buxar and Carnatic Wars, British were able to conquer many parts, especially in the Carnatic region, in the Hyderabad region. Due to Battle of Buxar and Battle of Plassey, they were able to conquer some parts in Bengal. Today, what are we going to discuss? Dear children, today we are going to discuss how they try to extend their dominance throughout the country. Today we are going to discuss the extension of British rule. The extension of British rule. Yes, you know, through Carnatic War, how they intervened in Indian political system. How did they laid strong foundation for their political existence in India? Actually, British came for the purpose of trading. They came for the purpose of trading. But what is the need of intervening in the political system of India? Why did they laid strong foundation for political dominance in India? To protect their trade interest in India, they sought the help of political dominance in India. See how they conquer India bit by bit, how they built their empire in India by brick by brick. Today we are going to see through this lesson the extension of British rule. You know, through Carnatic Wars, English had made other European countries not to challenge them in India. See, other European countries means, in the first lesson, the advent of Europeans to the India, we discussed Portuguese, French and Dutch. They were not able to continue their administration in India. Dutch, they concentrated in the Indonesia. Then French, they were limited to Pondicherry. And then Portuguese were limited to Goa. There were no major contender to the British in political dominance in India. Through Carnatic Wars, English had made other European countries not to challenge them in India. You should not, means they were not able to challenge them in India. They gained complete political control over Bengal. How did British gain complete political control over Bengal? Answer is very simple. Through Plassey and Buxar battles, they were able to gain political control over India. What? They gained complete political control over Bengal through Battle of Plassey and Buxar. Battle of Plassey. And second one is Buxar, not Buxar, this is Buxar. And by 1765, they had gained control over most of the eastern parts of India. Where? See? Most of the eastern parts. See? Most of the eastern part of India. By 1765, they had gained control over the most of the eastern part of India. Now, Since the Marathas and the Mysore states were dominated in the southern and the western part. See, in the south, here the Marathas, even you can see the Google image of Maratha kingdom. You can see the Google image of Hyder Ali kingdom. Hyder Ali's Mysore state. Google image, you can see. Yes, this part, almost all, this part were under the control of Marathas and Hyder Ali. Hyder Ali and Tipu Sultan. Hyder Ali. Yes. And since the Marathas and the Mysore states were dominant in the southern and western part of India, the hold of the British was restricted to Bengal and Bombay region and some part of eastern parts of our country. You know, Hyder Ali and Tipu Sultan of Mysore, along with the Peshwas of Marathas, were the only impediments in the path of expansion for the British. Dear children, who are the impediments? What do you mean by impediments? Obstacle. They were the obstacle. Who were considered? Marathas. Then Hyder Ali and Tipu Sultan. Who? Hyder Ali and Tipu Sultan. Then in the Maharashtra region, Marathas. They were the only impediments. Impediment means obstacles. Here. They were the obstacles for the path of expansion for the British. Then another means the others were six. The others were six in the northwestern region. See, today this part is called Pakistan. Formerly means before 1947, even Takshashila, Peshawar and Pakistan all were in integrated part of India. Those regions were an integrated part of India. Here, this northwestern part of India was under the control of six. You know, the famous Sikh leader. See the image. Who is this? Ranjit Singh, Raja Ranjit Singh. The Lion of Punjab. He was known as the Lion of Punjab. Ranjit Singh, who emerged in the later part of the 19th century, was a formidable opponent to the British. He is a very good strategic player. He knew the war strategy. If you see him, you know, at the age of 10, he lost his father. At the age of 12, he ascended the presidential position of Sukur-Chakya missiles. In Punjab, there were 12 Sukur missiles. You know, they are called Khalsa, the religious military army. Why did they form the religious military army? See, during the period of Aurangzeb, their religious leaders were killed. They were killed ruthlessly. They were killed ruthlessly. This awakened the Sikh people. So they formed military troop to protect their religion. That is called Khalsa. There were 12 Khalsa. One such Khalsa was Sukur-Chakya missile. It was headed by Raja Mahasingh. His father means Ranjit Singh. Soon after the death of Raja Mahasingh, Ranjit Singh ascended and took the leadership of Sukur-Chakya missile. He was a formidable opponent to the British. See, he helped Zaman Shah when he attacked on India. He helped him, assisted him. In return, he got Lahore and some regions in the Pakistan northwestern region. Because of that, we can say Ranjit Singh, who emerged in the later part of the 19th century, was a formidable opponent to the British. He was successful in organizing the Sikhs. He was successful. He organized all the Sikhs. The British also waged repeated wars here. You can see the image of Ranjit Singh. Then the British also waged repeated wars. Waged means conducted many wars from mid 18th century to mid 19th century. Mid 18th century to mid 19th century. They conducted many wars. Why? To conquer India bit by bit, to build their empire brick by brick. They conducted frequent wars, many wars. Apart from this, they also annexed various kingdoms through their cunning policies like subsidiary alliance and doctrine of lapse. Subsidiary, which were the two cunning policies British introduced in India? Subsidiary alliance, one is subsidiary alliance, the second one is doctrine of lapse. Doctrine of lapse. See, who introduced it? Lord Wellesley introduced subsidiary alliance. Image. Lord Wellesley. And who introduced the doctrine of lapse? Who introduced it? Doctrine of lapse. Doctrine of lapse was introduced by Dalhousie. Lord Dalhousie. In Kannada it is said to be, called Dattu Makkalige Hakkilla. Dattu Makkalige Hakkilla. How to keep them in your memory? Dattu Makkalige Housilla. Dattu Makkalige Housilla. Housilla means here Dalhousie. Who introduced the doctrine of lapse? Dalhousie. See, why does it call as cunning policy? Subsidiary alliance means the native rulers who accepted the subsidiary alliance, the ruler who accepted subsidiary alliance should accept their principles and ideology. What does it mean? Here, the British will deploy their military in the native rulers. First point. The expenditure and expenses of that military to be borne by the native ruler. Second point. Third point, the British will employ a regent to look after the ongoings of military and the administration. Directly, they confiscated the empire of the native rulers through this policy, subsidiary alliance. The second policy is doctrine of lapse. See, the native ruler, those who have no natural heir, the kingship will be automatically lapsed. Then the kingdom will be merged with British. Through these cunning policies, they annexed, confiscated, conquered many parts. For example, doctrine of lapse, Satara, Jhansi, Sambalpur, Udaipur, these regions were conquered in the name of doctrine of lapse. During this period, British waged 3 Anglo-Maratha wars, 4 Anglo-Mysore wars, 2 Anglo-Sikh wars. See, between the 18th century, the mid of the 18th century to 19th century, between 18th century to 19th century, they conquered 3 Anglo-Maratha wars, 4 Anglo-Mysore war, 2 Anglo-Sikh wars. Today, let us discuss Anglo-Maratha wars and Anglo. Dear children, Shah Alam II. He played crucial role during the Battle of Buxar. During the Battle of Buxar, they formed triple alliance, Shah Alam and Nawab of Awadh. Then they formed alliance against the British. In that war, they were defeated. Then, the Marathas installed Shah Alam II back to the throne of Mughal Empire in Delhi. See, with the help of Marathas, Shah Alam came to the throne once again. Shah Alam II was under the control of the British after defeat in the Battle of Buxar. In the Battle of Buxar or Buxar War, he was under the control of British. Now the emperor gave Kora and Allahabad. Now the emperor means Shah Alam gave Kora region. Kora and Allahabad. You can see the Google image of Shah Alam II. Allahabad. Whom did he give? He gave it to the Marathas. Now the emperor gave, this resulted in the enmity between the Marathas and British. Which factor, which incident created enmity between Marathas and the British? See, when the emperor Shah Alam gave Kora and Allahabad to Marathas, this incident created enmity between Marathas and British. During this period, the death of Maratha strongman Madhavrao Peshwa was a major setback to the Marathas. See, during this time, Peshwas means the prime ministers. The prime ministers were ruling the Maratha region. One such leader, a strong leader, Madhavrao, he lost his breath. It was a major setback, Madhava Rao. See the image, Madhava Rao. See the Google image. Madhava Rao's death was a major setback to the Maratha. Though his brother Narayan Rao came into power, he was murdered by his uncle Raghoba. After him, Narayan Rao ascended the throne. Narayana Rao ascended the throne. He was murdered by his uncle Raghoba. Who? Raghoba has another name, Raghunatha Rao. He killed him. This resulted in infighting for the Peshwa post in Maratha region. The internal scuffle, internal battle created in the Maharashtra region. Narayan Rao was killed by Raghoba. Then the Maratha Federation, you know that the leaders of the Maratha Federation, Scindias of Gwalior and Holkars of Indore and Boses of Nagpur, they are the leaders of Maratha Confederation. The Maratha Federation brought Madhav Rao II to the position. He was minor son of Narayan Rao. See, Madhav Rao II. After the death of Narayan Rao, his son was brought to the position. Upset with this development, Raghoba approached the British for support. See, what a traitor job done by Raghoba. Through this, British tried to attack on the Maratha region. See, who was responsible? Raghoba. His self-greedy is responsible to enter British into Maratha kingdom, Raghoba. Then upset with this development, Raghoba approached the British support. The British thought exploiting this situation for their favor. Then a long war was waged from 1775 to 1782 between Marathas and British. Initially, the Marathas gained upper hand. Later, they had lost Ahmedabad to the British. This war is called First Anglo-Maratha War. First Anglo-Maratha War. See, what I explained, both First Anglo-Maratha War. The Maratha Federation was unable to sustain the war with the British. Finally, they entered Salbai Agreement. That is also very important, children. Salbai Agreement. With the agreement, Salbai Agreement, the war came to an end. Madhav Rao II was named as the Peshwa. Salbai Agreement, the war came to an end. Dear children, today we discussed the first Anglo-Maratha War and how British used cunning policies. Note down and go through the textbook and go through the video. I hope you will learn better. Nice. Thank you. Sai Ram.